my goodness. Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for being here today. I am so excited. And thank y'all for taking time out of the Chiefs game to be here. I really, really appreciate it. Definitely let me know the score when I get done talking, So definitely let me know. All right. I guess I'm going to get serious now. But okay, let me take you back to March 2021, my first big girl job. And y'all, I needed this job. I quit my last one mid-contract, and I was walking by faith and not by my savings, okay? Because I ain't have it. But I got ready for my first big day with a slick back curly ponytail, some cute plaid slacks, and a tucked-in blouse and a heart beating 1,000,000 miles a minute. Kind of like it is now. But on my way to the workplace, everything I've been taught about working and professionalism in general came to me. About how my hair, my tone, my emotions were all things to manage and not embrace. But I just played it cool. I thought being myself would work, right? But it didn't take long before I started getting feedback, not about my work, but about me. The way I dressed, the way I showed up, the way I spoke. Y'all hear me now. Apparently, my professionalism was lacking, and to others, I was just too much. That's when I realized I wasn't just stepping into a career. I was stepping into a lifelong performance, and I didn't even know that I was auditioning. But I played my role. I started wearing wigs, I started straightening my hair, and completely overhauled my wardrobe. I thought I was doing what I had to do. I needed this job. But really, all I was doing was shrinking myself to fit in. And that's what I want to talk about today. That performance, that experience that Black women know so intimately. This talk is about performative professionalism, the emotional labor it bears, and how communication strategies can become accommodations for those of us who were never the standard in the first place. It's rooted in research that I did following Black women in organizational life. But make no mistake, this story reaches far beyond us. All right, so let's start with this simple but loaded question. What even is professionalism? Some people might say a button-up outfit, a neat hairstyle, and a polite phone voice. But for Black people, especially Black women, professionalism isn't so neutral. It's actually taught as something that is other than who we are authentically. So let's be for real. Being professional is a preferential status in the workplace, and it's based on a white male standard. And when you think about it, Black women don't inherently meet this standard. So in order to avoid being labeled as unprofessional, Black women alter their appearance, their speech, their beliefs, and even their behavior to match the standard of their workplace. Professionalism looks like code switching. It looks like lace fronts, flat irons, and hot combs. If you know, you know. It also looks like monitoring your facial expressions in meetings and also just double checking your tone in emails. That is what we call performative professionalism. Behaving or acting in ways that may be deemed as acceptable or palatable for the workplace, even if it comes at the expense of our authenticity. Now, let me get back to my story. I needed to know if other Black women felt the way that I did. I needed to know if I was tripping. So that question led to my graduate research project, Playing the Game. I interviewed 13 Black women, ages 23 to 51, and examined their organizational experiences. And let me tell you, I was not tripping. Many women described the rules of professionalism beginning long before they even got jobs. From church, from school, and even society. They express internalizing messages of professional inferiority and feeling the pressures to overperform, emotionally regulate, and avoid stereotypes. Because no one ever wants to be considered the angry Black woman just for speaking up at a work meeting. One woman told me, as Black women and as professionals, we go above and beyond because we have a point to prove. It can be stressful, it can be tiring, but it's necessary. That last word, necessary, stuck with me. That's not a choice. And that's also what I found in my research. Whether Black women tried to stay true to their identities or tried to conform to their workplace, the same results occurred. Disconnection, fatigue, confusion, and a constant sense of performing. For many of us, being authentic at work feels like a risk. It feels like a game that we play, but we were never meant to win. So what does this tell us? That professionalism, as it's currently defined, isn't just outdated, it's exclusionary. When we really think about it, Black women aren't necessarily meeting that standard. And when leadership doesn't acknowledge the work that marginalized people are doing to be deemed as professional, they don't just miss the mark. They miss the person, the talent, the creativity, the innovation. And that's not a cost any organization can afford, no matter how deep their pockets are. So how do we stop turning the workplace into some stage play? We start by redefining professionalism. We create a definition of professionalism that values authenticity, that values diverse communication styles, and different cultural identities. So that looks like creating and doing away with policies that are based on appearance-based, rooted in respectability. That also looks like creating safe spaces for real conversations. So this looks like Slack channels, employee resource, and affinity groups. This also looks like creating learning opportunities that value real lived experiences. So workplace events, and that also includes employee retreats. So don't forget those either. This also looks like addressing systemic barriers in everyday interactions. Because let's be for real, implicit bias affects everyone. The most important part is making sure that yourself and your staff are willing and equipped to handle and counter those biases when they do come up. Because this isn't just about optics. This is also about a whole culture shift. And these very things are the difference between retention and resignation. Black women are playing a game that we were never meant to win. I mean, we don't even have all the pieces. But what if we stop asking them to play altogether? What if we created workplaces that didn't demand performance but invited perspective? What if professionalism looked like community, culture, and confidence in every way? This isn't just an invitation to think. It's a challenge to act. So let's push the boundaries of what we think professionalism is. Because until we redesign the rules, the game is way too hard to play. Thank you.